Well, howdy, friends and floorheads, and welcome back. Our heroes have finally infiltrated the Maltese branch of the cult of a thing with 1,000 mouths, although perhaps not quite in the way they intended to. Adrian is currently sitting and chatting in the well-guarded home of cult leader Montgomery Donovan, while James has just knocked on the front door. Meanwhile, Alice has made a curious ally in the form of Sir Godfrey Wells, one of the last knights of Malta, who claims to have a secret route into the warehouse where the Mouth of Malta resides, and she and Sal are heading to meet with him now. Meanwhile, somewhere beneath a devouring mountain, a great maw gnaws restlessly at the bones of the earth. It has had setbacks, but there are more mouths, always more mouths, and its essence is safe beneath the mountain. Now all it requires is time, and time is something it has in endless supply. We'll be right back.
What's going to happen?
That is always the question. That's why we play, right? We play to find out. So I think we'll pick up with Sal and Alice heading to regroup with the mysterious Sir Godfrey Wells. I know you two were at the hotel and kind of catching up, realizing that maybe James wasn't going to be coming back immediately like he suggested he might. And so as I recall, the last plan was to go see Sir Godfrey and see if you can come up with a plan.
Yep.
All right. So it's not a difficult place to find. His the address he gave you, Alice, is in, there's sort of these big blocks of buildings in the center of Malta that kind of all, run together. And he's in one of those with just a lot of hallways going off in different directions and a lot of doors in different places, like a one random alley he found you in. But when you arrive, knock on the door and he opens it himself, welcomes you in, sees Sal, Sir Godfrey Wells, pleasure to meet you.
Sal Picardo.
Pleasure's
all mine.
I thought there were more of you.
Yes, unfortunately, as we already discussed, one of our compatriots is already on the inside. I'm a bit worried about them. And our fourth was supposed to be here, but we think that he's taken things into his own hands and maybe trying to get in.
Oh, dear.
Through the front door.
Well,
but if we need a distraction, he is definitely distracting.
Well, it seems like the kind of thing that would certainly attract their attention. I don't think it bodes well for his future safety, but you know his capabilities better than I.
Yes, but I think that, it's good to discuss what the options are. Our first thought is we need to get our companion out of the out of his house. But yeah, I don't know if you have a back way in there. Perhaps what?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, the catacombs do run extensively under the city, but I don't believe there anything getting into his basement. It's It's a bit of a fortress over there. I don't know that I'd recommend trying to mount an armed rescue. I don't suppose you have any idea what Donovan's intentions might be. If they're going to bring your friend anywhere, we might be able to get them on the way, but if they're holed up inside, we may not have many options.
Perhaps if we get his attention, because you did mention that you do have access to the warehouse where the mouth is.
Indeed.
Is that, I mean, now it's just the two or the three of us. They'll probably have a phone there if we're able to gain access and then reach out to Donovan.
It's certainly possible, although, again, the warehouse itself is rather well guarded and fully stocked. We can get into the chambers underneath where I believe the core of their evil cult is operating. It's the source of their foul drug, but I don't know that we'll be able to, well, I don't know exactly what's on the inside of the warehouse. I'll put it that way. I've discerned that it's able to get there, but I haven't explored very much myself because of the sheer number of guards. I mean, what is your plan? Do you want to go and have a look at the warehouse and see what can be done? Do we want to try and do something to get your friends back? We're three stout hearts, but we are only three.
Sal, what are your thoughts?
I think the warehouse needs to just become fireworks. I want to blow that thing sky high. Past that,
Alice pats her big medical bag and says, "Well, I'm prepared for that."
Oh, I see.
But I mean, is that? I'm all for that, but are we going to? Can we do that? Just the three of us, and what happens to Doc and James in the meantime?
that's the issue. I mean, if we are successful, it may be that by blowing the warehouse, we forfeit Doc's life. And so
it'll certainly provoke a reaction, but it may not be
Yes.
the one that we want.
Yes, absolutely.
What's the alternative? We go stake out his house again?
I mean, we can sit in a cafe, but I don't know that that's going to accomplish anything.
And they know us by now. They'll
Yes.
recognize us.
Yes.
So perhaps we've got the car. We drive past. See what? Well, I don't know.
The house or the warehouse?
Well, the house. But even if we do see anything, what would we do? Geez.
Do you know what your friend's intent was in getting into Donovan's home? Do they have a plan?
I don't believe it was actually the intent to get into Donovan's home, but
I see.
knowing them, they like to talk and
Talk themselves into guest membership.
Well,
so, but I mean, if we can't say, well, what would Mac do? They talk.
Adrian?
What would the doc do? What would James do? Well, James is doing something entirely stupid at the moment. That's probably the case.
I wonder if perhaps it would be worthwhile to get an idea of what your friend James is doing, and depending on its level of stupidity, may be able to determine the best course of action for us. We are, at the moment, traveling a bit blind, and it's difficult to plan when we don't know what the others are up to.
That's probably the most. See if we can find James. If they're both in there, then I think perhaps we check out the warehouse. We're going to need some kind of leverage to get them back. And if we can't storm his place, then he doesn't know we have access to the warehouse.
True. And if you want someone to keep an eye on the facility, I mean, he may recognize the two of you, but I don't believe he knows me. So I may be able to keep an eye and report back to you if there's something inappropriate afoot.
But I mean, that also takes, perhaps just all three of us head over there, covertly see what's happened, if we can see anything at the house. And if we can't, check out the warehouse. I mean, I really can't think of us, other than knocking on the front door, and that's what James already is doing, how we could do anything about the house. So we try and, trust that James and the doc can take care of themselves, and let's start prepping on the warehouse.
All right.
James and I extensively surveilled that warehouse. We have an idea of guards and schedules. The curiosity is they never stepped off of I believe it was the paved areas or something. There was never any movement off of established areas. Like they were not walking on the grass, things like that. If I remember.
But now we have an underground access.
Yeah.
That might be through the back door.
Yes, and while it seems like they have traps and certainly plenty of guards in the above ground areas, I don't believe they're aware of the catacombs underneath. So that should give us an advantage if we move quickly once we get there.
So, do we check out James or do we head to the warehouse?
I think we should head to the warehouse. Whatever happens to James happens. There's nothing we can do much. If our goal is to destroy the production of this orange juice or whatever they call it these days, and I'm thinking that we need to do that regardless of what happens to Doc and James. I don't want to see anybody else falling prey to this insidious horror.
Well said. Well, I'll make my preparations. I'm sorry, you were saying?
We'll just have to trust them to take care of themselves and each other.
Very good.
And we'll be ready when they make it to the warehouse.
And on that topic, I think we cut back to the exterior of Montgomery Donovan's townhouse, where we see James standing in front of the door, having just knocked. What's James's overall demeanor in this moment?
Like very aggressive knocking, and stiff back, but otherwise expressionless.
Okay.
Kind of a blank face. I don't know what is going to happen next. Is the door going to open? Am I going to get shot from upstairs? I have no idea what's about to happen.
Right.
So, but I'm trying to appear confident.
Okay. The door, in fact, opens after a very brief wait. A man probably in his 40s, gray salt and pepper hair. It's not Donovan. He's, dressed in a sort of a lightweight suit, gives the vibe of maybe a butler or a valet or something along those lines. And he says, "Good afternoon. May I help you?"
I'm going to try to step across the threshold. And if that means I physically bump into this person.
I mean, he kind of is standing in the opening of the door. I mean, you're bigger than he is, so you could certainly do it.
Yeah, I almost as if he's not there. Just kind of, the door's open, I'm going to walk in.
Okay. Well, he sort of, does this sort of, I beg your pardon, as you push him back. And you step into like a little foyer type area. You can see a number of little rooms offside and a stairway leading up. And just sort of out of sight of the front door are a couple of men that you would certainly recognize as Donovan's bodyguards, not by face but by type. And so basically, when you come in, they immediately stand up and start moving towards you.
I'm going to open my jacket, exposing my holster.
Okay.
With the gun in it, but my hands are remaining on the jacket, so I'm not reaching for my gun. I'm essentially offering them to take the gun out of my holster.
Okay. One of them, stands back a few feet. The other one does step up and, cautiously removes the gun and kind of pockets it. What brings you here, friend?
Take me to Donovan. I have information he wants.
All right, and they kind of nod at the butler fellow, whoever he is, and he goes upstairs. And I think we'll cut away to the lounge where Adrian and Donovan are sitting. I think Donovan has finished telling you his tale of woe about what happened to his wife and the illness plaguing his child, and the idea that he perhaps wants to get out of this. What is Adrian's approach from here?
I think, depending on how much time we have before the inevitable knock, can we hear the intense knocking?
No.
Okay, good.
Very quiet room.
I imagine Doc can articulate this all better than me, but he will prioritize talking about the safety of the child and mentioning that he, outside of all the more esoteric happenings, he does have a history of being able to get people out of situations. Talks about his time in university, specifically in Austria, helping people get out of Germany. So even beyond any of this cult business, he assures them that he can help his family in this instance.
In exchange for what?
What do you mean?
You're just you've come here apparently with a history of dealing with the fonts like this one, and now you're just going to send me and my son on my way out of the goodness of your heart?
Sorry, that's so hard to believe. That's not what the only part of the plan would have to be. I'm sure you can understand that much. I don't want anything in return, but it would never be that simple.
What are you proposing then?
I don't know if he has the notes on him, but you ask for some pen and paper if there's any around.
Sure. Yeah, he goes over to the desk, pulls out some stationery.
Very deftly and diligently, a bit scarily fast, Adrian starts to recount on paper some of the information that he received whenever they went to what was it again? Bangkok.
Okay.
All the notes from Savitri, explaining his theories on where we need to go next.
And he's kind of, leaning over and watching you write. He seems kind of absorbed in what you're doing. And I think both of you may be slightly startled when there's a soft knock on the door. And he kind of does this little grimace and heads over to the door, and just, without opening the door, just says, "Yes." There's a gentleman here to see you, sir. He says he has some information you may want. And Donovan kind of looks over to you and says, "Friend of yours?"
Can you ask how intense he was about that information?
He says, "Stay here, keep writing," and he kind of goes out and shuts the door behind himself.
Oh no.
And so anything you're trying to do while you're alone in the room here, or just making notes?
I think he tries to keep writing, but he's trying to also listen out just in case he can hear James' voice, and if it starts getting really bad, he's gonna like, oh,
Yeah.
he's shouting, let's go.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty well soundproofed in here. Actually, you don't hear anything on these. I mean, you're sure you'd hear if there was like a gunshot or something, but So-
But then before Donovan will leave, Doc will stand up so that he's not he will stand up, go to Donovan. If that is my friend, he is quite intensely protective of his friends. I don't think he is aware of me wanting to help you yet. So,
let's see. What are the names I should be on the lookout for?
James and James.
oh, I don't know the tone. Depending on, it's either going to be if Sal or James. If it's information. We need Alice to see our getaway driver, so not giving Alice to see it.
Fair enough. All right, he says, and he steps out. And the valet comes back down the stairs and says, Mr. Donovan, we'll see you now. And, basically escorts you upstairs. One of the guards from downstairs follows you. And as you get upstairs into this kind of living room area, it's got the windows overlooking the cafe outside. There's another guard here, and a guy in the middle of the room who you recognize as Montgomery Donovan.
One of the things I would be doing with the guy who's behind me, matching with the people in the lobby, matching with a new person in there. I want to get a sense of, are these bodyguards armed? And do they move like they're good at their job?
Yes, to both questions. Yeah, they are definitely all carrying sidearms, and they certainly move like people who have a military background or a professional background of some kind. They're confident, watchful, but not jumpy. They seem pretty competent. And Donovan sort of looks you up and down and says, "Can I help you?"
Dr. Fisher is here, and we can simplify all of this. Just take me to him, and I can give you information I think you would find important in exchange. But I need to be in the room with the doc when it happens.
Now, you see, you put me in rather a curious situation here, sir, because if I admit that I have this Dr. Fisher person here, and then I bring you to them, well, there's any number of things that might go wrong there. But it sounds like you're the kind of person who isn't really interested in negotiating once you have a fixed position. James, I assume? You don't look like a Sal. And he kind of gestured to one of the guards, and one of the guards basically comes up with his hands out as though to frisk you. And he basically just does a quick check to see if you have any other weaponry on you.
Yep, arms out to the side, opening myself up to it.
Yep, okay. And he does a quick professional job and says, he did have this, sir, and kind of shows the gun that you had when you came in. Donovan kind of thinks about it for a moment. And he seems to come to some sort of decision, and he goes over and opens this side door out of here, and gestures you inside, and you see Adrian, sitting at a table in there. And the guards kind of come to follow him, to follow him in, and he just kind of puts a hand up, and he, assuming you go in,
yes,
goes in with you and shuts the door behind him.
Are you okay?
The doc will just kind of keep writing until the door fully closes. Once the door closes, are you trying to get me killed, James?
Or himself.
I do two things at the same time. I say, you look okay, as I'm grabbing Donovan and slamming him up against the wall.
Okay.
Hey.
Go ahead, just to give me an overview of how this is. Go ahead and give me a scuffling roll. Your target number is only 3. He's not a very he's not a fighter himself from the looks of him.
A big 6 points, so I'm going to spend one.
All right, piece of cake. Yeah. He, I mean, you're quickly able to put your hands on him, and you've got him in a good position, with leverage. And he says, "I don't know what you think you're getting out of this, but I don't think this is going to end well for you."
James, listen to me. Let him go.
What do you mean, let him go?
If you'd let me talk for a moment, you might have heard what I had to say.
It's a fairly straightforward sentence.
I'm just holding him up against the wall, and I'm not breaking eye contact with him as I'm talking to the doc.
Mm-hmm. He seems to be putting most of his attention on Doc.
Okay.
Let him go. Trust me, James.
I don't have to, but I throw him to the ground anyway as I let him go.
Mm-hmm.
And turn around to face Doc.
Kind of stands up and dusts himself off.
Adrian will kind of, whatever notes he's been writing, will kind of just tap them to organize pieces of paper. He wants out.
I don't know what that means.
He doesn't want to be a part of this operation anymore, James.
This isn't a gym membership. What? Look at what he's done.
Look at what it's cost me. Oh, you don't know, do you? You haven't been paying the slightest bit of attention.
Look at him with the please say one more word face.
James, focus on me.
Look back at you.
You've already seen what it's cost all of us. What it could make any of us. I've seen all of you get that close. Okay? We are in no position to judge. He wants out. He wants his kid out, James. If you can't trust him, at least help the kid.
Oh, well played, Doc.
I'm a therapist. What can I say?
Okay. He stays with us until we get rid of what's in that warehouse.
He still has to play the part. Nobody else knows that he wants out. He can't just let us walk freely. At least not in their eyes, okay?
Then I'll be his right-hand man.
That's between you two. I don't know anything about all that. And
I
you will...
turn to him. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go first. You go first. Yeah, go ahead.
I turn to Montgomery and I go, I am with you, however you want to explain that to everybody else, until that warehouse is no longer standing and whatever's inside of it is no longer at the surface.
And how exactly do you plan to make that happen?
There is a second option, and it's the option I walked in here with. We can revert back to that.
I don't think that'll do you any good. I'm not saying I disagree with your intent. I'm asking how you intend to achieve it. There are 50 men in that warehouse, and at least half of them have rifles. Unless you've got the 7th Cavalry somewhere in your back pocket, I think you need a plan.
Then you'll help us with that. But you know that we're more than capable. all the other ones that have been shut down, that's all us.
James, we're not in the position to be making threats.
Turn to you. If he wants out, he needs to help us.
What manner
I
of
do
help
have-
do you want?
I do have something you may be able to help us with, then. And Doc will kind of have all his notes in hand. Even after we destroy these mouths, it doesn't mean the problem is gone. You know that much, Donovan. No matter how much you know about the history of this, you know that's not the end. And going through the notes, rifling through them, Savitri was trying to find the stomach, the center where they all lead. I've collected her notes and I whittled it down just a little. I also have her travel logs where she was planning to go. If I can whittle it down just a bit more, if I can figure out what the location is, or at least have the time to go to a few of them, then we can find the source of this.
He kind of just reaches a hand out for the paper that you're looking at with the list. And he kind of looks through it. Takes a moment reading down the list, and he says, "I know which one it is." Hands the papers back to you.
And are you sure we're not going to be hurt if you tell us now, or should we wait?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you now. I'm not going to tell you until my son and I are on a boat out of this place.
Fair enough. I'll help you and your son. I suggest, looking at James, that if you meet up with our friends, we think of something that isn't just guns blazing, because that's worked so well for us in the past.
Turn to Donovan. Are all the men in that warehouse under your charge?
They're all employed by us, but it's not as though I have single command of them. 3 of us came here from Los Angeles to set this arrangement up, and I'm sure the other 2 would be happy to see me out of the picture if they start to suspect I'm having second thoughts.
Where are the other 2?
Usually at the warehouse. I'm the social face of the organization, you might say. They're the business end.
Saul might have a good plan for this then.
If you know of any way to minimize the number of people that are in that warehouse when it goes up, I advise that you tell us.
There tend to be
Because-
fewer people there during the day rather than at night. At night is when most of the work gets done.
When it goes up during the day, there's nothing you can do to clear it out more.
Any number of distractions might work, but they tend to be very well organized. The workers stay with what they're doing, and the guards will certainly keep an eye on anything on outside, but their objective is to protect that building and what's inside it. I think we'll have a hard time getting them to leave.
Other than the guards, what do we need to know?
Well, the font itself is in the basement, and if I'm not mistaken, that's what you really want to destroy.
Nothing else? Just the guards? That's the only thing.
The guards and
How
the
easy
workers.
would it be- How easy would it be to make my friends here appear as if they're new recruits?
I don't know. Is your friend capable of being subtle?
If you can imagine it, yes, actually.
Well, as you might imagine, we don't generally take people down to see the font on their first day. It can be off-putting for those who aren't ready for it. So, if you were a
And
newcomer,
at least get them into the building.
I have to say, I'm not feeling... I'd like the idea of getting your friend into the building. I like the idea of seeing the font destroyed. But what I'm hearing doesn't particularly strike me as a plan at this point. It's not exactly filling me with confidence.
We usually work better as a full team. We only have half of us at the moment.
I am not comfortable with the idea. There's already going to be suspicion if the others are watching me, and I suspect they are, that I've got two strangers in my house, so I don't feel like adding any more is a good idea.
Then hold me here. Send James back.
No. I'm staying by his side. You go back. You find out what they've uncovered.
As long as one of us is collateral, I suppose.
I'm not sure which of us would be collateral, he says, looking at James.
It makes more sense for me.
You know where to find me. Let him go. Talking to Donovan.
Mm-hmm. He just kind of looks at Adrian.
James, I was the one he brought here in the first place. I don't know as much about these undercover operations as you would. But I'm sure it would make more sense if I stayed as the collateral.
I'm sorry. No.
Be reasonable, James. You have one shot. Trust me.
I am going to walk over to you, Doc, and with just enough, but no more than I need to, of course, I'm going to escort you out of the room.
James, don't do this.
I'm going to open the door and...
Okay, the guards kind of immediately straighten up when they say you and Doc, but not Donovan. And Donovan says, "It's all right. The doctor was just leaving. James will be staying here for a bit."
Oh.
Doc kind of yank himself away from you and walk over to the door.
Okay.
Be smart, Burton.
I nod.
Okay.
And as soon as Doc is out of earshot,
Mm-hmm. The valet
Hopefully it's
sort of
just-
escorts you down to the front door.
yeah, I'm going to go back up and I want... let me know if I can get Donovan alone again.
He's kind of come out into the room where you were with the guards, and he doesn't seem particularly interested in going back into a room alone with you.
Okay. Then I would like to get close to him and whisper in his ear,
Mhm.
anything happens to my friends, and I take your kit first.
So a couple things to point out here is that, you know, his bodyguards are clearly, you know, obviously Donovan has kind of waved them off a little bit, but they are very aware of where you are in relation to Donovan at all times, and they're like, you know, they're not close enough to hear, but they're very much lurking on the periphery. And do you want to go ahead and spend me a point of intimidation?
That is probably the best example of that skill.
I thought so. I thought it was very effective. Yeah, and so I mean, you say that to him, and he goes very still for just a second. He's not looking at you. You know, you're just kind of here over his shoulder
Mhm.
talking to him. And then he just kind of sags. You know, his body just kind of slumps down a little bit, and he has nothing to say in response. Adrian, you're escorted out the front door. Where are you going?
God damn motherfucker, Burton. Probably gonna go back to our hotel first because doesn't know about them going
Sure.
to see Sir Doc.
Absolutely. Yeah, you get back to the hotel, no problem. There's no sign of Sal and Alice.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
We'll probably notice that. I think that the doc would be perceptive enough to notice that it seems like a lot of stuff is not there. Equipment.
They've packed up for something.
It's not a picnic.
Did Alice tell us where Sir Godfrey said to meet?
No, I don't think Alice.
Okay, to
Does-
the
I don't think you're
warehouse.
even aware of Sir Godfrey's existence.
I don't think Doc knows anything about Godfrey. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
No, you had already been kidnapped
Right,
when
yeah.
when
You
that
just
encounter
saw it.
To the
happened.
warehouse. We're going to the warehouse. Oh, he's gonna be pissed when he sees you two. I swear to God, he's gonna be pissed.
Oh, but you're not going to see us.
That's true.
He's going to the warehouse, like not directly to the warehouse. So try to get a taxi just like to the warehouse district, and then
Mhm.
on foot. Just be like, okay, I better see Alice's car. Better see Alice's car here. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him.
Okay. So we cut back to Sal and Alice with Sir Godfrey, and basically he packs up. You know, he doesn't have like a big backpack full of equipment. He actually does belt on a sword, which
Nice.
is a little bit quaint, but you know. And he also pulls out a little. He has like a little leather satchel type thing. And he shows you in it there's like half a dozen little vials of what just look like water. And he says, in case either of you should be exposed to the drug, this is bits of that drug mixed with holy water blessed many years ago by a priest I knew. I thought it might help dissolve the drug, but it seems to have become some sort of antidote. So if you're infected by it, you should be able to take this. And he kind of gives you each one of them. Anything else we need to know or prepare? Or
No, I think we've looked at it from the outside. That doesn't really seem an option. So try this catacomb access.
Chris, can you go on mute?
Do what?
You go on
Oh,
mute.
sorry. Yeah.
That's all right.
it's all good.
Let's try the catacomb access and see how far we can get.
Mm-hmm. So he kind of gestures for you to follow him, and he leads you down into a series of very old stone tunnels. You know, he gives you kind of a running little sort of anthropological travelogue as he goes. You know, the Christian catacombs began here in around 1100 AD, and they continued until Napoleon conquered the island in 1798. My order used these for a great deal of transportation. Of course, they connect to the older Salvieni megalithic tunnels. You know, we'll be crossing the Hypogeum, and you'll be able to see some of the areas. You know, and he kind of, you know, as he's walking down here, and these are, you know, as you might imagine, very tight. I think especially for Sal, it's pretty cramped in here. You know, old stone tunnels. There are definitely sort of niches that look like where bodies would be stored. There aren't any bones or anything there now. But he mentions that there were a number of traps here that his brethren were able to get rid of along the way, and basically leads you for probably an hour or two, through these tunnels of varying sizes and various ages. There are some big halls along the way, but mostly it's just these tight little tunnels. You see Maltese crosses carved into the stone in a number of places. There are a number of side tunnels along the way. He seems to know where he's going, but if you didn't have him with you, you're sure you'd have a hard time navigating this place. Eventually he gets to a place where you start seeing, it's been getting gradually a little more damp, and you are at a point now where you start actually seeing some standing water in the tunnels. And he says, I'm afraid there will be some wading ahead. We're almost to the warehouse, but it's going to be damp ahead, I fear.
Is there an exit or a closer exit than going all the way back to your house, in case we...
There are a variety of exits. They're unfortunately mostly connected to people's cellars or other areas where it would be a bit awkward to suddenly emerge. But in a matter of crisis, he kind of thinks about it for a second and says, if you take going back the second tunnel on the left from here, it should lead you to a doorway that I believe connects to a cellar that can get you to the surface fairly quickly if need be.
Okay. Oh, let's continue on.
Very good. And so you start going in, and the water, it's the tunnel seems to be sloping slightly downward, and it gets to the point where it's probably up to your shins, then your knees, then your thighs, then your waist. And yes, it is cold. It is brackish. And as you make your way, getting closer, he sort of starts gesturing you for silence as you get close to, like, you can see it kind of opening out ahead. And you can start seeing there's like a very thin, like oily orangish sheen on the surface of the water. And then eventually the tunnel starts ramping up again a little bit, and eventually you can see that it is opening up into a kind of a dry tunnel that looks a little more worked, a little more modern. And he says, we're under the warehouse now.
How far have you been in?
And he points to where you are right now.
Sal, you check ahead.
Well, Sal will quietly start to move ahead.
Okay. So you make your way up here and kind of, get to a corner, do a sort of subtle peek around. You're not hearing anything here yet. It doesn't sound so anything to hear. And then you do get to a little bit beyond the corner. It kind of dead ends in what looks like, it's from this side, it's clearly some kind of concealed door. Like you can see like plaster and stuff around it with a frame and a handle on it so that it could be opened. But presumably it's something that's not well known from the other side.
Okay. Sal is going to kind of test it to see if he can get it open quietly. He's not wanting to make a lot of noise.
Sure.
If necessary, he'll take his knife and kind of work the blade in the crack of the door there to try to get the plaster knocked back enough where he can open it without having to.
Yeah. There's a little there's a kind of a latch on it that is designed to keep it from moving, so it doesn't, but you can unlatch that pretty easily. It doesn't look like this door has been opened in a long time. But the opening itself you think will be fine. The one thing you're not sure about is there's like the hinges might be noisy. It's kind of hard to tell. So do you want to sort of try opening it a little bit?
Yeah, I'm going to try to open it just a little bit.
All right. Go ahead and give me a stealth roll with a target number of 4.
I'm going to spend a point of stealth.
Sure, makes sense.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. So yeah, you've got everything you've lined up, and you open the door like just an inch or two, and it sounds fine. And just as you're about to stop and like, okay, I think we'll be fine, there's a sort of from the hinges. So what's your reaction at that point? You freeze, you close it,
I pull it closed again.
Okay. All right. And
are the hinges on this side or the other side?
They're on this side. It opens towards you.
Okay.
Yeah, and you kind of hear on the other side some muttered conversation in what sounds like Maltese. But between like a couple voices, and then they go away again.
Okay. I don't have any sort of oil. Going back to the brackish water with the oily orange sheen, is that thick, viscous enough that it might work?
It's really mostly water at that point.
Okay. Well, I will head back to Sir Godfrey and Alice and let them know what I found. I said, we're going to need oil for that door. Otherwise, the second we open it, it's going to give us away.
Let me check my bag.
Somebody has points in preparedness, if I recall.
I have lots of points in preparedness, and even if I don't have oil, I imagine I have all types of stuff.
Well, don't you have castor oil in that bag?
Oh yeah, no, I've got the castor oil.
Perfect.
I've got the castor oil.
I love it.
We didn't feed all of it to James.
Yeah. So yeah, just go ahead and spend me a point of preparedness to make sure that you have enough. But yeah, that'll do right. Especially some of the older stuff that's kind of thickened a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can do those. Yeah, you can apply those up to the edges.
I will shake it well to make sure it's nice and evenly oily, and then apply it.
I imagine that this time that Sir Godfrey and Alice have joined you now.
Yeah, they will come up here.
Give it a couple minutes to work in, and just then we try to open it, hit the latch, move it slowly. Again, given the oil time to kind of, and I'm applying oil as well as I'm over, directing somebody to apply oil as well as I'm opening it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it opens much more quietly now. And you can see it's kind of in the corner of a little sort of L-shaped hallway. And you can see kind of looking out off to your left as you open the door. It looks like it comes to a little T intersection. And then up ahead of you after a short hallway is a much bigger room. And I think you have like, at first you have just enough of it that you basically have, you see a worker or somebody kind of coming down the hall. He's dressed, just in kind of, the 1930s equivalent of a t-shirt and shorts. And he's got kind of, a classic yoke across his shoulders with a bucket on either end. and he's just basically walking out of that big room, turning down the hallway, and going off into the other T section. So
Okay.
and you can hear some noises up ahead from that big room, just like quiet conversation and some, banging and thumping noises.
I will point to the direction of the big room
Mm-hmm.
and quietly say, I think that's where we need to go. So, I guess I will continue down the hall a bit to try to get a better look at the big room.
Okay.
I will spend points of stealth. Let's hope my rolls are better today.
Yeah,
So
target number is
time.
only going to be 3 on this one.
Okay. Well, I will spend another point of stealth.
Okay. Just enough. I almost said, surely you can't roll 2 ones in a row, but I wouldn't do that to you because that's the jinx.
Yes, I would. Yes.
Yeah, and so you get to this, the opening into this large room, and you can see, this was some kind of big, I don't know, chapel or crypt or something. You can see like some old stained flaking murals on the far wall. The whole thing is probably knee deep in this sort of thick orange oily substance. And you can see there are a couple workers in here who are just basically getting buckets and filling it up and kind of, putting them off to the side. It looks like there might be, I don't know, there's almost like a slight current as it like slowly, moves in one direction. And it's like you see all of this stuff and then, but you don't see a source of it at first. When you're kind of looking around trying to stay out of sight of these guys who are clearly just focused on their work. And then you look up,
Okay.
and the arched ceiling of this room is a single enormous mouth. It is much bigger than any of the other ones you've seen. It's maybe 30 feet across.
Oh my God.
It's just staggeringly huge. I would like you to make me a stability roll, please.
Okay, I'm going to spend 2 points.
Okay, your target number is 4. Okay. It's like, I think it takes you a moment to sort of realize what you're seeing. And then I don't know. Well, I mean, you're not freaking out about it. Tell me, how does Sal react when he sees this thing?
Sal kind of catches his breath and then whispers, "Meal deal. I think we're going to need more bang." And with that, he's going to move back quietly to the group and tell them what he saw.
All right, sounds good.
Or what he is seeing, yes.
So I'm going to cut away from there to see Adrian, in his hired car, arriving in the warehouse area. I think, were you with Alice the first time she did recon on this? I think no, it was just Alice. But it's not difficult to find the place. There's like just a row of warehouses along here, and this one kind of stands out because while there are a couple guards outside, it doesn't look like there's any real activity going on. Most of the other warehouses here are loading or unloading things. They've got people taking inventory, whatever. Here, most of the doors and stuff are shut. There's only like a car or two in the parking lot. And it seems very quiet compared to its neighbors. You do not see Alice's car anywhere.
Where are they? Where the fuck are they?
They could be anywhere.
Genuinely could be. Okay. Doc doesn't want to cause any potential issues by getting too close to the warehouse. I think he probably would have, like he did in back when we were at Savagery's fighting pit, would have
Mhm.
dressed down to kind of look more like a blue collar worker.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of look like he fits a bit more in this area.
Sure.
He's going to basically just kind of be on stakeout for a bit.
Okay.
Not as intense as his other friends can be. He's basically just like a warehouse or two down,
Mhm.
with a newspaper or something, looking like he's just on the smoke break,
Yeah. Fair
waiting
enough.
to see if the car comes up or
Mhm.
if he sees either of them, and just waiting until it gets like it would be an uncomfortable amount of time for a smoke break before he's just like, I guess there's somewhere else. Right.
Fair enough. And then
He's just going on a wild goose chase for his friends for the whole day.
well, you know, splitting the party is always an exciting adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we look back at you know, James back in the townhouse, you know, Donovan is basically you know, kind of just camped out in this sort of lounge area with a couple guards, you know, hanging out. He looks like he's doing some correspondence, reading the newspaper, that kind of thing. Seems like he's doing his best to pretend you're not there. Any particular things James wants to accomplish while he's here, or just keeping an eye?
Yeah, just casually sitting there as if I'm, you know, the +1 bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that would cause me to act is if he tried to get out of my sight.
Yeah, he doesn't. He seems to be aware of that. You know, occasionally he'll you know, ask one of the servants for a cup of coffee or whatever, and offers you one if you want one. I think at one point, there's like a little unspoken conversation where one of the bodyguards kind of gestures to the pocket where he put your gun and nods in your direction, and Donovan shakes his head. And that's kind of the extent of it.
Yeah, that's smart, Donovan.
Right, exactly. I mean, he's not in a great situation, but he's not an idiot.
Right.
All right, so why don't we give everybody 10 minutes to think about their next course of action?
All right, that sounds great. We'll be right back. we are back.
Oh, already? Here I was waiting for you to return and give us a thing.
I
All right.
came like
You
I came
just
back and
made it.
I did. It was like 3 seconds left. Oh boy, I can't cut that close.
All right. Very good. Well, I am assured that Alice has a plan, and I'm keen to find out what it is. So let's cut back there.
I imagine perhaps Alice, Sir Godfrey, and Sal have kind of retreated back into the hidey nook. And then, speaking softly, it's like, so it's downstairs. If we can somehow, we need to reconnaissance. We need to find out. This is below grounds. If we can somehow cut off access from above, then this is probably the only way that they can get in here. So that way we can stop anybody else from getting in here. And then we only have to deal with whoever's down here. So we find the stairs, block stair access.
Have we established if this orange substance is flammable?
I don't know that anyone has ever tested it.
Sal's going to test it. He's going to try to get a small bit of it and see if he can't, grab a little, just a small amount, pull it back and see if it actually lights up.
Yeah, I think you can do that. It's not like there's any short of it in there, and it does not seem to burn.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Would simplify a great many things, but no.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, if we can stop them from reinforcing from above, I think that would be the best thing. Because I think all the shooters, or a lot of the shooters, a vast majority of the shooters
upstairs.
are upstairs. Yes.
Yeah, none of the people that you've seen going back and forth seem to be armed.
Or we can somehow, do you think if we, perhaps there's a, I don't know, storage room or somewhere that we can start a fire, get smoke, try and get them to evacuate outside, and then we block access.
I don't think they'll evacuate.
No? Well, the workers perhaps.
Workers, yes, but I don't think the guards will.
You think the guards will come if there's smoke?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I think easier to deal with the workers than the guards.
Yeah, if we can lay eyes on the stairwell or the method in which you're getting down to this level, and then remove that or cave that in. The only caveat to that is, if it's like a stairwell, we take it out, they'll just get ropes and come down that way. So anything we can do to...
Let's see if we can, I think we figure out if we can get a bit of the lay of the land down here, and if it's possible to get the stairwell access blocked, collapse, that they'd have to dig it out. Then they're locked in here with us.
I'm not certain that's the best approach, but you know best. I mean, if there's a single tunnel here, I may be able to hold them off for some time. I'm not as fit as I once was, but I can still guard a tunnel a bit.
I think we need to somehow, we need to take that thing out, and we are vastly outnumbered, so we need to make sure that there's no reinforcements. And so let's just try and get eyes on what's down here and what we can use and whether we can block it off.
Okay. So to give you an idea of what you're seeing, basically it looks like there's a group of maybe 4 or 5 workers that are kind of cycling through this room back and forth. So they're coming through that hallway, maybe every few minutes. So is the plan for like the 3 of you to go out there together? Is one of you going to do recon by themselves? What's the...
Or where the workers are always carrying buckets and stuff.
On the way out they are. On the way in, like they've got the yoke, but there's like a big store of buckets in the big room.
Do the workers look drugged or?
No, they look like they might as well be moving crates of anything. They don't seem especially affected by what they're doing.
perhaps we borrow one of the workers.
To what end?
Well, I mean, when they pass by, we, invite them in here, and then they can answer some questions.
Well, I mean, we can certainly do that.
They might get noticed that they're gone, but as long as nobody, the hidey hole is quite hidden. So,
if we bring a worker back here, though, I don't believe it'll stay hidden for long. The second thing we
not
really
coming out again until we're done.
Well,
Do you think that would be safer? We have Sir Godfrey to translate. Sir Godfrey, do you think we'd be able to trust whatever we'd get that worker to answer? Do you have are these very loyal people, or do you think that they'd give correct information?
All I know is that if they've seen what Salvatore describes and they're still willing to work here, they must be either held here in some way or true believers in whatever foul god that thing represents. So I'm not sure how much information we'd get out of them, but I suppose it's worth a try.
Well, my concern is this. That mouth is sitting up on a ceiling. So we need to make sure that we have a way of dealing with that. And I don't want to tip our hand if we pull a guard and we don't have a method of dealing with that. I'm thinking that's not a good idea.
Okay, and I was just thinking that perhaps it's safer to get one of the workers in here, see whether they share any reliable information rather than trying to dodge people and get a map.
Let me quantify it. I don't believe it's a good idea at this time.
Okay.
I think until we figure out a way to deal with the mouth, so when we come here to set the fireworks off, so to speak, absolutely. But I don't know that we've got the material on hand we need.
No, but we'd be using the worker to give us information about the layout rather than trying to sneak around. I mean, they've been working here. They should know the layout. And then...
Oh, absolutely. But I think if we take one, his absence will be noted within a few minutes, and then we'll have guards all over.
But they won't be able to find him here.
Maybe. Are you willing to stake your life on that? Because I feel that's what we're going to have to deal with.
Okay, no, I think if you think that it's safer that we try and reconnaissance it ourselves rather than taking one of the workers for information, then we go with that. I'm just, if we get found.
I'm thinking we pull back down. And because we need to make sure that when we come back, anything we do is going to cost us the element of surprise. We'll have it. We're going to lose it the minute that we do something.
I agree. But at this time, we only know the route there. We need to know more about the lay of the land here. And I think, when I looked at the access back here, I don't think they're going to find this hidey hole. They are going to have a missing worker. But they're not going to find this place. So this access will still be accessible, but we will potentially have more idea of the lay of the land.
What do we do with them afterwards? We have to assume they're true believers. I believe Sir Godfrey is absolutely correct. What's going to stop them from yelling and screaming and yes, I can choke out somebody. That's incredibly easy. But if I do that, they're not talking.
Well, we only do that after they've talked.
He is likely to make some noise along the way.
Yeah, but we take them a bit way back, where we have the water.
I don't know. They seem to be on a fairly regular pattern coming in and out. I think perhaps we might be able to just follow one at a distance to determine the route they're taking rather than risking getting one back here and raising a ruckus. As Salvador points out, this is our main element of surprise, and I would hate to lose it before we're ready.
Then I agree. Then that's fine. Just some thoughts. But I do think it would be good if we could get a better idea of whether we can block off the stairs, block off the access. What's down here?
Okay.
So that when we do come back, we're prepared.
I am going to operate under the assumption that they will get down here no matter what we do. If we could stop them from doing that, great. But we plan for the situation in which they get down here.
Yeah, no, but we'll at least have delayed them. And I think we just now know one route. I'd like to know more about what's down here, and so that we're prepared when we get back, so that we know what to bring.
I'm happy to try and follow one of them, see what path they take, if you'd like.
If
I have no problems with that. I mean, I can be stealthy at times.
I've
It's
seen it.
not in my nature, but
then I'd say if the both of you are sufficiently confident that you can map out more than we could get out of a worker, let's do that, and then
Let's try that first. I think it's less likely to go wrong.
famous last words.
Alice really wants to kidnap somebody.
There's always time for kidnapping.
Apparently not. You're not letting her.
Sal will go out.
Okay.
He will go out.
So I think what happens is you kind of, you've sort of gotten a feel for the rhythm of these guys. So you wait for somebody to go by and you wait like 30 seconds and then you sort of trail them out. And it takes probably a few minutes to get through this, but basically it looks like more or less this underground area, other than this big room off to the side, is kind of like a big loop. There are little branches off to the side with catacombs and dead ends and niches and stuff, but there's kind of one main tunnel that they seem to be using. Basically the guy you're following basically goes off, makes a couple turns, and there's a long hallway more or less at the opposite end of the loop that leads to a staircase leading up. It's just a stone tunnel and then a stone staircase that leads upstairs. And then, somebody who comes back basically takes the other side of the loop back to where they are.
Is it a narrow staircase or broad, open?
It's probably, a little wider than your sort of domestic house staircase, maybe 5 feet across. They got room to carry all the stuff. It's carved out of stone, so it's not like it's just a wooden staircase that you could easily destroy. There are certainly places around the route where you could, dodge into some of these side tunnels and hide if you had occasion to, but it looks like there's only the one way up to the main part of the building. You do also notice at one point, kind of on the way back almost to where you are, there is kind of a modern interior door set into one of the walls of this old stone tunnel, which looks a little out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there any obvious support structure for the catacombs for these tunnels?
No, it looks like it's pretty much just relying on the stone itself.
Okay.
There's no support beams or anything like that.
Okay. Once I'm done with the recon, I will head back.
Okay.
And then meet back with them and tell them what I've seen.
Okay.
I believe that our best bet would be not to attack the stairs, but to attack the catacomb tunnel itself, to drop it. That way, it will require more effort to get through that. They'll have to bring in heavy moving equipment or lots of workers. If we just do the stairway, it's likely they'll just take ropes and rope down. So that's my suggestion, but I'm certainly no engineer.
That sounds good. I imagine we do that after the, yeah. And then we know we just have the workers and whoever's in that, behind that room.
Yep.
And we need to figure out how we take out the mouth. That's not, it's up, not down, but yeah, I think this sounds like a plan.
Okay.
We'll need more heavy duty material, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, not that Alice has seen it yet, but from Sal's description of the size and the room it's in, you think there are probably two main approaches you could take with demolitions equipment. You could either set a series of charges around the room to basically bring the ceiling down, which is probably surer but would take time and, certainly attract attention if the thing is at all aware. The other option is if you get some dynamite, like a bundle of it inside the thing's mouth.
Gravity.
Right. Gravity is a problem. So
Okay,
those
well,
are the two main thoughts that come to mind with your explosives expertise.
We can think on that on our way back.
All right.
Do we have a map of this area? I'm interested to see if we can line up where that door, the interior door that's out of place, where that would lie roughly. If we look top down and see the warehouse, what building that would be.
Yeah, what I think you can do, I mean, you don't really have a map, but you've seen what it looks like above ground. Basically, it looks like the door would still be underneath the main warehouse building.
Okay.
So that could be another stairway for all you know, although these guys don't seem to make any sign of using it.
Okay. So whatever we do, we want to collapse the tunnels in between us and that stairwell and not further down. I would like to see what's in that room, but don't know that opening it and trying to get in is a good idea at this time.
Well, I mean, if we collapse the hallway, then we've bought ourselves time before anybody else joins us. Then we only have to deal with the workers on this side.
But if we
and I imagine we're talking, we're sparring, spitballing about it while we're following Sir Godfrey back.
Yep.
Does Sir Godfrey have any input, or does he give any, kind of reaction to the brainstorming between Alice and Sal?
Oh, these guys are ignorant.
I mean, he seems to be taking the subject seriously. I'll put it that way. He'll occasionally put in some theories. He says, not knowing what that room is, it would be good to know what's in there, like if there's another exit or something like that. But he also agrees that if there's someone there right now, this would not be a good time to do that. But yeah, he says if we come back, tomorrow during the day, when in perhaps the late morning when they are the least busy, we can. What I would like to do, if it's possible, and I'm no demolitions expert, but perhaps set something up to block the tunnel leading to the stairway, but not trigger it until either whatever you're doing in the main room takes place, or it's discovered in some fashion, so that we have as long as possible before attention is attracted to the location. I don't know what other means they may have of getting here, but let's give ourselves as much time as possible.
Let's see what Sal's friends can help us get.
Very good. And he leads you back to the tunnels and back to his home, where he, you're welcome to, take a shower or a bath, dry off. He might have some stuff that fits Sal. He doesn't have anything to offer Alice as far as a change of clothes. But Adrian, you've been sitting out here for a while now, and there is no sign of your friends. The one thing you do notice as you're starting to get wrapped up, because it's starting to head into evening now, and you can see that more vehicles are arriving at the warehouse. It looks like it's a bit of a shift change. A lot of workers showing up on foot. A couple of them drive in. And one thing that you do notice is that there is, because there's always ships coming in and out of the harbor here. It's a very busy port. And it does look like there is a freighter that is kind of angling towards the dock here at this warehouse.
Mm-hmm. Adrian will stay just a bit longer to see if there's anything very notable that happens after it's docked, but won't be trying to stay too long. Doesn't want to stay long enough to get the attention on him.
Yeah, I think you'll see that, when it pulls up, there's you can't really get a good look at it from here, but there's only some kind of, big door on the dock side, and you can see that people are starting to bring out a bunch of crates, and there's people, swinging a crane over on the ship to try and get stuff loaded out.
Okay, he'll note that.
Okay.
But I think what he'll do is he'll walk out of the warehouse district a bit of a ways until he's out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Call another car to, if he can, hail a cab or anything to get back to the hotel. Just decide that he has to wait for Alice and Sal to show back up.
Okay.
And he will basically pour himself into what he remembers doing, which is writing the documents for Donovan and his kid. Making the documents, figuring out what he needs to do to help them get out. Trying to remember how he did it a few years ago and trying to do it again for them, how he did it in Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
So he pours himself to his work until Sal and Alice hopefully come back.
Okay. And I think, sorry,
Right.
Chris, you had something? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming that the hallways were lit somehow.
Yeah, they have like electrical lights strung along, just bare bulbs mostly, kind of nailed up on the ceiling.
And the flagstones, or the stones that make up the wall, what sort of condition are they in? Is the mortar bad? Are they well kept? Because my thought process is we can actually, if there's one that we can remove, put the explosives behind it, and then put it back in place, and then be able to blow it that way.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of the catacombs that you first went down, were very much like that. Obviously very old, the mortar's fading away. You just have a lot of set stones. The areas under the warehouse are very different stonework. It seems almost like it was not, it hasn't been reinforced. It was just kind of tunneled through. So there's not much in the way of like individual stones and stuff to pull out in that area.
That makes it, if it's not as well supported, if it's just tunneled through, that means the support isn't as great. From what Sal would understand of this. The reason why you put walls in and things like that is so that the friction of the stones helps hold that in place. So we're likely to get a collapse if we, blow that tunnel, as opposed to, we'd have to make sure to, if it were walls or if it were
Right.
stone, we'd have
Mhm.
to get past that stone in order to make that collapse. So,
Yeah. So this may actually be a little easier for you.
okay.
And
I
then
imagine,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sal and Alice, after they've cleaned up, they head back to the hotel as well.
All right. When they arrive, what kind of a state is Doc in?
With how Doc usually is, with the amount of work he's doing, you would imagine it's a complete mess. But considering the type of work he's doing, it's actually very, very neat. Everything is in order in a way you haven't really seen of the Doc before. You also don't expect to see the Doc here, Alice.
So yeah, what does that look like when you guys get back to the hotel? And I mean, do you knock on each other's doors? What's the? I think it's more likely that Adrian might actually hear your voices in the hallway.
Where have you been?
You made it back.
Where have you been?
Scoping out the warehouse.
I didn't see you there.
You were there. Well, we've made a new friend, and they have some. They had a backdoor access. Glad to see that you made it out. Have you seen James, perhaps?
Yes, I think you all should. We have some things to discuss.
Okay.
And we'll wait for you both to come in and close the door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Clearly, we all have a lot of things we need to discuss with each other now. I'll start. James is fine. I hope. If he's not fine, that is his fault. I genuinely hope he's not done anything while I've been gone.
Where is
Donovan
he?
went out. And James is staying because he can't there are two other people on the operation in Malta, so he can't show that he wants out yet. So James is staying as collateral. He's not in any danger unless he decides to attack Donovan, which I can't say is 100% off the table with him, but James is fine. Donovan wants out, and I'm going to help him get out. So, was this about a friend?
Well, while I was going after, trying to follow you, and your friend Donovan sent his friends after me, I met a Sir Godfrey, who is a knight here, and he is very helpful in combating this evil. And I'll update her on what we've done and the plans that we have. So I think we have at least another way into the warehouse and where we need to be, but we need to somehow, that's what we were figuring out. This time the mouth is on the ceiling, so that will complicate matters on how we can take it out. And we were thinking, and that's what we were just discussing, how we can shut off access from, well, let's say the downstairs area for the rest of the minions, the goons, so that we have the time and what resources we need to take out that mouth. I would say, I mean, it's all well and good that this Donovan wants out with his son, etc., but I'm not quite sure how much we should trust him or let him in on what we now know. I would not share that information. I'm just thinking, what does this change?
At least it sounds like you two have more of a plan than we do. I will probably still need to get back in contact with Donovan if I am to get him out of here. I will need to give him the documents I've been preparing.
Or perhaps at least then that's what you could do, is get him to share a map with you of the ask him to share a map with you of the warehouse and the layout of everything. And then also, depending on, the feedback that he gives us in the map, we know at least what the downstairs layout is, so that we'll have a better idea of whether or not he's on the up and up or not. I mean, if he gives us a map that is clearly inaccurate.
Yes,
And
and
then I say, in the meantime, so if you can keep Donovan busy with this, I don't know, escape plan, and in exchange get a map of the warehouse, then we can Sal and I can, or at least Sal, perhaps Sir Godfrey has some other options.
do
Start
you think
getting.
I could meet this Sir Godfrey?
Oh, that can always happen in the future. But I'd say let's get you concentrated on getting the information from Donovan.
I just think it would be best if I meet him before we do anything else.
But why do you need to meet him?
Well, when somebody shows up saying that they're a knight of a holy order that's been fighting this for generations, I think I would rather meet them first before I move it forward with any other information.
Well, sure, but I think on the other end, you are speaking to somebody who we know has sacrificed his wife and is now sorry and is now repentant because it's going after his son. So I'd say perhaps
he's repentive.
Yeah, he's saying he's repentant. So I'd say we need to get this moving. I think the longer that James stays with Donovan, the larger the chance that, well, I mean, James will be a distraction there in any case. But if you get the map, you get a map, keep Donovan busy, and then we are going to try and get enough materials so that when we go back there, we can finish this thing. And then after that, of course, you can speak with Sir Godfrey.
I'll do my best then.
When I turn to Sal, it's like, do you think your contacts would be able to get us? And then I'll start making a list of kind of the things that I remember from the Venezuela days.
So you're looking mostly at explosives at this point, is what I'm gathering?
I'd say perhaps explode, and I don't know, something to fill the hallways with, gas.
Jesus.
We could get some gas masks.
That is likely to be harder to obtain, I think.
Yeah.
There's certainly plenty of legitimate uses for explosives on Malta. The
gas masks.
Poisonous gas is not as common. So I want to cut briefly back to James. As the sun sets, he sort of finishes his correspondence, and at one point the valet comes in and asks, should I have cook prepare an extra serving for dinner? And Godfrey kind of nods, and he says, sorry, not Godfrey, Donovan, brother. That would be confusing. And he looks over at you and he says, how long do you think we should give Adrian?
We'll hear from them by no later than tomorrow.
I understand.
What you're asking for is a lot. And it's going to take a little bit of time.
I'm mostly concerned about the sleeping arrangements tonight because I'm not accustomed to having company recently. Can have a bed made up for you in the hall just outside my room. I assure you I won't be going anywhere.
I just need a chair.
Very well. And he goes back to his paperwork.
Okay.
So let's synopsize what we have going on here.
Brian, I do have one question.
Oh, sure.
Industrial adhesive. What are our options?
Industrial adhesive.
What are our options?
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I guess what kind? Because that's a fairly broad category.
Sticking dynamite to the insides of alien
With
horrors.
things like yeah. Well, yeah, they have a mixture designed especially for that, as it turns out.
Those guys
You
are
know, the
freedom.
salesman slapping the car. This adhesive right here.
We can get so much C4 in this baby. Yeah,
I mean, duct tape hasn't been invented yet. So.
That's true. That's true. I think, honestly, when you're getting demolition stuff like this, it mostly has stuff that you can use to sort of mount or apply it to surfaces. So I don't know that you need any special stuff to get. I mean, getting it to stick to the mouth may be something else entirely, but I don't think they make anything for that.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know that you need any extra preparations there. So James is going to be sleeping, or more likely not sleeping, on a chair outside Donovan's bedroom. Super awkward. And you can tell that the guards really want to ask him questions, but they don't. The servants are just pretending like everything's normal, because that's what servants do. Let's see. I guess Sal is reaching out to his contacts to stock up on some additional explosives and materials. Adrian is finishing up the paperwork for Donovan and his son. And then what does Alice have planned for the rest of the evening here?
I'd say Alice has a long shower, gets a good dinner for everybody, room service, and is then, just getting stuff prepared to patch people up and put people in situations where put people in a state that they need patching up.
Fair enough.
So she's going through getting stuff ready.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Do either Sal or Alice mention the holy water at all?
Sal probably would.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have come up.
Yeah.
Then Adrian will probably ask if he's not able to meet Sir Godfrey if they can save at least one.
Oh, Alice will readily give her vial to the doctor. It's like, here.
Okay.
This may be able to help the kid, but I think we should be cautious of it first.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, that is a good idea. Perhaps you could, but you can't tell him where you got it.
I just think we should make sure that it works first, but I don't know how to do that. I'm holding on to this one just in case.
Yep.
Okay.
I'd like to add to that list flamethrower.
Molotov cocktail, flamethrower, get it all in there.
I feel like that's going to take some significant effort to obtain.
Okay. I know they had them during the 1700s and things like that. So.
Yeah, they're not sort of widely available, is the thing.
Yeah.
Damn it, Walmart's not been invented yet.
Malta's still an island.
How about I'd say Malta doesn't have any mining. Because are we getting it through their mining expertise? Or
Yeah, most of the explosives and stuff you're getting, there's a lot of quarrying that goes on here,
right?
So that's actually not that difficult. But yeah, flamethrowers are another matter. They did use them during the First World War, but I don't think you're gonna find any of that stuff here, honestly.
Alice will. We're going to be underground in a closed area that we're going to potentially close off. So smoke, debris, that type of thing. I think Alice is, at least in the early morning, is there perhaps any, First World War museums or anything? She's going to see if she can somehow find a source to some kind of masks or protective goggles and mouth masks or something.
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you what, you won't be able to get anything tonight. But
in the
like
morning, very early.
Tomorrow, I think if you're willing to spend a point of preparedness, this is the sort of thing, because this was a big medical station during World War I. And I think it's the kind of thing that they would probably have stored up in mothballs somewhere that, nobody's looked at them in 15 years. But they're probably fine. They're better than nothing.
And I'm just looking at my notes. I've got one of my occupational benefits is by using medicine or reassurance, you have access to medical records and hospital wards, generally off limits. I don't know if I could further extend that to also kind of cover this old type things.
I mean,
or is preparedness just enough?
I think I am going to need the preparedness, because it's honestly a matter of luck about finding some place that has them that you can get. But I think once you discover their existence, it's not difficult for you to get a box of them.
So I'm just getting stuff so that if we do go in there, that we would have less,
Exposure.
less exposure, and breathing. So it's perhaps not World War I gas masks, but as close as I can rig it to that.
Okay. Yep, I think that's entirely reasonable.
And I may have some of the stuff that I may have gathered might be quite caustic.
Certainly possible. All right, so come the morning, what's the plan? Alice is gathering less of her paraphernalia. I imagine Sal is picking up the stuff he arranged for the previous evening.
Yep.
Who's going where?
I think perhaps we wait for the ideas that Adrian drops in with Donovan, gets a map, and it's the idea that she can get that back to us before we then head out.
Mm-hmm.
I think Doc will probably telegram to the if it's possible to telegram to the townhouse at all.
I'm sorry, to which?
Would it be possible to telegram directly to the townhouse, or does he know if there's any?
No, I mean it would be a nearby telegram station, and someone would have to run and courier it to him. But
perhaps
you can certainly
I'm just
do that.
Thinking, Alice has had a thought just before we leave. Would it be an option? I mean, you keep Donovan busy. You get him the papers. You get a map. Do you think you could switch with James? So send James out with the map to us, and then James can join us when we.
That's up to James, and he seems entirely opposed to the idea for some reason.
It would be good to have a third person for the assault.
I'll try to convince him, but I don't know how much he'll listen to me.
Well, let's say, how long do you think you'd need to? We'll give you an hour and a half, so that we can have the map and then we head in?
Maybe 2 to be safe.
Okay. And then I'd say either you send James out with the map, and then you can keep Donovan with his escape plan, and perhaps, I don't know, visit the sun with the holy water stuff. And then we'll go hit the warehouse.
All right.
So, Doc,
Mm-hmm.
you gonna go knock on the door, or are we doing a telegram thing? What's the plan?
He doesn't really know as much about all this So the reason he wanted to telegram is because he didn't know if like just showing up and knocking on the door would be a bad look for Donovan. Does he get the impression that it would or wouldn't be?
I mean, Donovan was saying that, you know, there might be an odd look if these strangers kept showing up at his house. That said, you've already been there, so maybe it wouldn't be as much.
Then I think just as an extra layer of precaution, he will telegram, but he'll say that he will be at the cafe.
Okay.
So he will still go there, but it'll be up to Donovan how he enters the house, essentially, how he wants it to look.
Okay. So yeah, basically the cafe that you and James went to the other day, where you had breakfast. All right, cool. So I think in the morning, James, the place is back to its sort of weird, unsettled routine with you here. Donovan kind of says to you, I usually head out around this time to, I make my rounds. I stop by my wife's grave and, have breakfast, that sort of thing, and head over to the hospital.
I'm familiar with your morning routine.
And so are my associates. So if I were not to do that, questions would probably be raised. You're welcome to come along.
I'm going to go check on my friends.
All right.
But you need to know that my promise still stands. Just because I'm not here doesn't make what you love safe.
I understand what you're saying, but here's my problem. You and your associate have gained a great deal of important and dangerous information on myself and my organization, and I don't think it suits me to let both of you just walk out the front door. So I think perhaps we should wait until we hear from your friend before you go anywhere. And right around this time, as you're kind of doing this face-off, the valet kind of comes in, immediately sees that there's a lot of tension in the room, and after a moment, Donovan, without looking away from you, just says, "Yes, George," and he's like, "Telegram for you, sir," and he hands it over and walks out, and he says, "Oh, well, perhaps we can solve both problems at once. Apparently, Adrian is going to be taking breakfast at the cafe. Perhaps we could all go say hello."
Just a reluctant nod.
Okay. So he, gets his group together, and you guys will walk over to the cafe where we see Adrian, and he says on the way over, "I don't think we should join him at the table, but we can probably get a table next to his so we can converse without too much observation, without making it obvious." And you do indeed. I mean, you and Adrian, he obviously kind of looks over and sees you, but kind of doesn't make any visible recognition, and he sits down at a table next to yours. As he pulls out his paper, and James, I don't know what your intent is.
Donovan wants me to sit with him. Is that clear?
He looks like he is open. He doesn't particularly care which table you sit at.
All right, I'm going to sit with Doc then.
Okay.
Well, I say to Doc,
You've got to try their cannoli. It's very good. And while looking at James, rather, but talking to Donovan, the doc would just say, "Have you and your son's papers? my friends have a plan. Pretty good one, I might say. Not one we can discuss here, obviously.
And he kind of nods and says, when are you planning to put this plan into action?
I squeeze your leg.
Oh.
Hot.
What? Doc looks uncomfortable, confused. What the fuck's going on? They were wondering if you had anything of a map of the warehouse. Once they have something like that, they plan to start their plan.
So they have a plan, but no map. I see. And he kind of, pulls out. He has a little journal that he keeps with him, and he kind of sketches out a map. Probably on both sides of the page. He's like, does the exterior of the warehouse, and then a rough map of the interior, and then a little tunnel thing underneath. And he, kind of looks at the map, and then kind of, tears the page out, balls it up, and sort of throws it away right, at your feet, basically.
If it helps your confidence any, this is insurance, not a first look. Won't pick up the paper yet.
Okay. So he says,
There's some other updates if you want those.
oh, please, I have nothing but time.
Still looking at James.
Oh.
There is potentially something we have that could help your son medically.
I see. That, and you can tell he looks over at you for a second before realizing that he doesn't have to. So he says, I am very interested in finding out what that is.
Fortunately, it's a bit too sensitive for a handoff in a cafe.
Well, I'm planning to go visit Monty in a little bit. And if your friends are taking your plan into action today, I should perhaps be considering checking him out.
I do have a question.
Yes?
What are the names of your two associates?
He kind of thinks about it for a moment, and then he says, Victor Prescott is the muscle, you might say. Very confident, not as dumb as he looks, but he takes care of security matters. Diana is doing daily oversight at the warehouse. She's actually probably the more dangerous of the two, if not physically.
Okay. And who handles the freight that I saw coming in last night?
Not coming in, going out.
Oh, yeah, going out.
Yeah, Diana oversees that.
And he's going to try to word this very carefully. I imagine Doc can do it better than me, but essentially is going to be asking if they are very competent, do they have any other methods of getting to the mouth if one is made unavailable? To see if he knows about the catacombs, essentially.
And he kind of furrows his brow when you ask that question. You can kind of see the wheels turning for a moment. And he says, the tunnel into the stairs into the basement tunnel are the only way there that I'm aware of.
Can I do any kind of check to see if I believe that?
I don't know that I'd call it a check. You've got, all the psychological skills one can have in this game. I think you think he's telling the truth. I think what got him going is, why are they asking about another way down, or do they know something I don't?
Mhm.
So you don't think he's lying to you. You think it is the only way he knows about, but
Mhm.
it's clearly the question has raised questions for him.
Before, I imagine we're going to be making our separate ways.
Mhm.
Not at the same time, obviously.
Sure.
Probably we'll leave before because came here
Mhm.
before.
Yep.
We'll just say, from what I was told, that mixture. And if he's leaving before, I imagine he'll essentially just explain that he'll leave it somewhere on the path he knows Donovan will be going, essentially.
Yeah, I think you got a good description from where from when James followed him. There's like the little garden that his
Mhm.
the memorial thing for his wife, and you can kind of slip it inside that gate
Yeah.
to where it wouldn't be visible from the street. But okay. And he kind
He'll
of
describe
nods.
that, and then he'll basically just say, from what I was told, this is a mixture of holy water with the what?
I'm
Nectar.
squeezing your leg. You are way too trusting for James's comfort level.
And Donovan's just kind of waiting
okay.
for you to finish the sentence.
And I believe Doc. Like, this is really a James Doc thing, not a Craig Mac thing.
Just looks at you.
I'm sorry, you were saying
Associate
holy
told me
water?
to refrain, apparently. But you get the gist. Just be careful with it.
And he kind of does take a moment with the newspaper up, and he just kind of looks over at you, and he just kind of says, "Don't fuck me on this, Adrian. If you like, you may spend a point of reassurance."
Mm-hmm. He would be happy to.
Okay. And,
I think
so
we
he
can-
kind of just gives you that long look, and he's basically, you're asking me to put this substance in my son's body.
Mm.
Can I trust this? And
Adrian
whatever
will
he sees.
decide.
Mhm.
Adrian will decide. Going against James in this moment. Looks kind of sideways toward
Mhm.
Donovan. And we'll look to James first, just like, sorry.
Mhm.
A mixture of holy water and the substance. So be careful.
And he says holy water in a way that kind of, it's equivalent of he's saying, "Oh, bubble gum, we haven't tried that." But he kind of
You've been
nods.
testing it, but I don't imagine you've had it sanctified.
You might be surprised to know I'm not really a believer in such things anymore.
I would be surprised, honestly, with all you've seen.
No. At any
I would rather your son be as safe as possible. I'm going to leave. I think you should consider it before you use it.
Very well.
But regardless if you use it or not your son, and you will be getting out of here. I've made sure of that.
All right. So as far as the paperwork, are you planning to leave that with the holy water, or are you giving that to him here? Okay.
So what I'm going to do is basically, I imagine I always have a newspaper. I'm basically just going to have the sleeve of documents. I'm going to close the newspaper, leave it on the table.
Got it. Okay. Classic spy move. Okay.
And then the vial will be kind of left just hidden in the garden.
Okay. Sounds good. So he finishes breakfast, kind of stands up, his guards stand up. He sort of looks to James, to see it, like, are you joining me? Or
Don't stand up.
okay. And he kind of just kind of looks at you both for a long moment and then leaves without saying anything further, and heads off in the direction of the hospital.
I was really hoping that we had enough on each other now that good.
All right. So, are we regrouping at the hotel then?
Sounds like it.
Okay. Hey, the band's back together. I'm very excited.
And I think we safely assume everybody brings everybody up to speed.
Yeah, we can sort of, consolidate that. So what's the plan, kids?
I think that as soon as Doc and James get back, Alice is like, "Did you get the map?"
You did. And unfurling it, you can see, looking at the underground side that you've seen, it's not a very precise map, but he's basically, marked, he's got a little drawing of a mouth in a room here, and then kind of the loop, and then the stairway. And he does have like the space where that door was that Sal saw is marked office, and there's a little star there that he's drawn. On the other side is a picture of the warehouse. It's like a big L shape, which is what you saw from the outside. There's like offices in one corner, the stairways are there, and then most of it is just open space. So it's consistent with what you've seen.
Seems legit. I think we need to move now.
Before we go, I did get a bit more information. The two associates he mentioned, it was Diana and Vincent, was it?
Victor.
Victor.
Diana and Victor. Both pretty capable from what he described. Diana is the bigger issue, though. I imagine that might be what the office is for, so I think we should prioritize making sure nobody gets in or out of that office. I imagine they may have more knowledge than Donovan on what goes on. The warehouse may have other routes that they didn't tell him about. So perhaps we should keep an eye on that before we do any redecorating.
I think we're heading in. We're making sure nobody else can join when we're in there, and we're taking it out.
All right. You've gathered all of your necessary paraphernalia, and I guess to go above the table for a moment, how are folks on time? Do we want to try and do this today, or do we want to save this as a cliffhanger for next time?
Let's do it next time.
Okay,
Let's
sounds
make an
like a
episode
plan.
of it. Yeah.
All right,
And the
very good.
only thing I'm going to do is make sure that Sal has an extra pistol I can borrow.
I imagine they can turn up.
We're bringing everything. We're bringing everything in the kitchen sink.
Good.
I want to establish exactly what we have.
Oh, yes.
Because I've got a lot of stuff on my character sheet that I may not have. So
Fair enough.
All right, we'll do an inventory check.
Just
All right, let's
before
run.
just before we are going to be heading out, Adrian will just turn to James and say, "You see what happens when you trust me?"
Literally, that's what James does. It's just no. All right, we'll be right back.
In a mansion grand where secrets lie, Walter Winston lived, but he had to die. His daughter Janet, fierce and bold, hired a team to find the stories untold. Oh, Walter Winston, Mr. Mystery Man, caught in a web of a sinister plan, with cults and crimes and shadows so dark. His story ignites like a match to a spark, Ex-cop, doc, gangster, nurse in the mix, unraveling truths in a dance of tricks. Swinging through secrets, meet the moon's gleam, they chase the whispers of a deadly dream.
We are back.
Somehow, despite the party's best efforts, we've managed to get them all back together again. It's very exciting. Yeah, so I think we definitely are moving towards a conclusion here. It may be a fiery one, it may be a bloody one, but it's going to get interesting. Let's talk about some thoughts and stars and wishes and stuff. And I think I want to start with Naomi this time.
I think I like this, kind of setting up episode and the interaction between, Doc and James and how that played out. And I think, I really do enjoy brainstorming and trying to figure out how we're going to do this. And I think that this time I get a bit of a feeling that we, there's always a bit of a risk that you're too overthinking it, etc. And that, I do get a feeling that this time we've come up with plans. So I think that I really very much enjoyed that. And I think that my wishes for the next time is, I'm looking forward to an action-packed next episode.
Yeah.
Things just, happening and reacting and getting to meet Fixer and Diana. So,
I'm sure that'll be fun. They seem like nice people.
See how we can use them. Alice has ideas.
Alice always has ideas. That's what terrifies me. Chris, how about you? Thoughts, stars, wishes, etc.
Well, I couldn't hear what Naomi was saying for some reason. Yeah, her screen is frozen to me, and I didn't hear what she said.
She said a lot of mean things about you, Chris. It was super awkward. I didn't know why you were so quiet.
Broad shoulders, it's all good. At least for me, the stars for this was James, Doc, and Donovan. I mean, the tension, the interplay between those three, fabulous. I'm like, James, and but yes, that's my stars for this. Wishes, I want this to continue. I enjoy it, and I'm having a ball.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Mac, tell me what you're thinking.
I don't know why I don't trust Sir Godfrey. I don't know why. I think it's a
that's
natural.
interesting.
I have to say, I mean, going on to what Chris was saying, not to interrupt you, but I'm interrupting you. I love moments like this when it's not clear who trusts who, and like the whole thing with Donovan and James and Adrian was great. But having you come in and say, no, I think I want to meet this Godfrey guy before we put too much faith in it. I love that moment.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Doc trusts you all more than he distrusts a guy he hasn't met.
Nice.
Hopefully that doesn't bite us in the ass. I think it's the night thing. Adrian just like, I don't know about that. I don't know about the Crusaders. They were a bit of a xenophobic, came in. I don't know about that name. Star, I think, was just seeing how well Sal and Alice work together with reconnaissance. It worked so well for who they are as characters in terms of like backstory with both what they did before the game and what they've been doing
100%.
during the game. That whenever it's like kind of those two in their own bubble, we haven't really gotten to see them interact as much until Malta, that they've been going on their missions together, and I think it's been really fun seeing those two together. Wishes, I hope that I hope that we can meet Diana and Victor without us all dying. Like I would like both to be able to happen.
Okay, interesting. I'll see what I can arrange. All right, Craig, what are you thinking?
I actually got a question for Mac. So Doc left the holy. So I couldn't have stopped any of it. Like here's what my concern. is, and I think that I know James would have expressed this to Adrian on our way back to the hotel, is like he still owes us information. Why are you giving him everything? What's left? Why does he still need us? Why is he going to tell us that? And we're not going to answer it now, but I think that's really like, it's critical after we're done with this that we get back to Donovan, because Donovan is the one that's going to point on the map where we should go. And you don't trust Godfrey. I don't trust Donovan. I think James thinks there's probably a 30-40% chance that Donovan's walking over and saying, all right, Victor and Diana, I've got it all set up. This is what they're going to do. Right. You know, I even put a star on the ambush site for us, you know.
I think Doc completely agrees with you. That's a very likely chance. His thing is, he's seen desperation like that before.
Yeah.
And he understands that he may fuck us over, but he would rather give him the option to help his kid, even if he fucks us over. Even if it goes poorly for us, there's still a chance to help the kid.
Yeah, and James would not admit that he agrees.
Now doesn't trust any of them, so it's all good.
But the other thing that's bugging me is and this is a potentially unanswerable question, right? Which is, what is the physics of these damn mouths? Like, it's one thing for them to be in pits and they're all connected in the center of the earth, but like, why is this thing on the ceiling? Like, what's going on?
Where does it go?
Right. Like, James is like, what the hell? And I think as part of James's spiral here, he's becoming a little obsessive about it, right?
Well, you know, there's actually a really good way to find out how. All you need to do is kind of crawl inside.
Man, I'll tell you,
see where it goes.
Yeah, don't give James any ideas. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm like you, Chris. I really enjoyed. I enjoyed role playing with you, Brian.
Always.
You know, playing Donovan.
He is a really fascinating character.
Yeah. I don't know.
You got any wishes?
Yeah. I wish to find out what's going to happen. I want to find out whether we shouldn't. Who did we mistakenly trust? Because I have a feeling that there's an answer to that question. It's not nobody. So, that's
why we play the game. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think my favorite moment had to be. I mean, there were a lot of good ones in this, but I think my favorite moment was when Doc was talking to Donovan at the end there, and James was just like, "I squeeze your leg," and I'm just kind of like, one squeeze for yes, two for no. What are we doing?
No, it's one of those situations like shut up now. Like
I got that, but I just love the sort of uncertainty. And
well, I love Doc going, "What are you doing?"
Yes, exactly. It's not the time, James.
That was your mistake. You never tell Doc what to do. He is a stubborn little shit.
Oh God, these two characters are more alike than we want to admit.
Oh, I love it.
All right, tomorrow we've got Scum and Villainy, and then we'll be back here in 2 weeks. Love you, Mina.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers. Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love
and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next